everyone, HB Cellular Geek here, and it's been quite a long time since I made my last YouTube video, mainly because I have been pretty busy because I have had some new volunteering roles, and I have also been training hard to get my flexibility back, because I have just got back into dance and I'm hoping to, you know, take it somewhere. So I thought that I would show you guys a skill that I have just learnt, and it took me months to get it right. I am not 100% there, but I am getting there. I am super close, I can promise you that. Because I'm so proud of myself for making this commitment, I just want to teach you guys how it happened. So, what I want to teach you guys is how to get your splits. So the reason why I wanted to get my splits again was because about 10 years ago, when I was in primary school, I was doing a lot of gymnastics and dance, so I was pretty flexible back then. And then over the years, once I started secondary school and all that, I lost my strength and flexibility. Even though I returned to dancing for a little while as a teenager, I still wasn't strong and flexible enough, so from there I thought that maybe dance wasn't for me. But back then I did street dance, and I've decided it wasn't for me, mainly because it is a bit too much to learn for me and I can't quite grasp it. So recently I have gone into ballet, which I never did as a kid, and I also hope to go into musical theatre and contemporary and all some other styles as well. So before we get started, I just want to share a few tips with you before we get started. So the first tip I recommend is that strength and flexibility are related in a way. So as well as training to be flexible, you also might want to train to be strong as well, because you will see how it all ties in, hopefully by the end of this video. So obviously I recommend you do some strengthening exercises as well as some flexibility exercises. Okay, another thing I want to say is stay hydrated, because it does feel like a very good workout, but also you could get exhausted quite quickly. And this is normal, it's all part of the process, so please don't be discouraged by anything. So yeah, it's always best to have some water with you, just in case you get really, really thirsty, because as I said, it can be a really good workout. Another thing I want to mention is no pain, no gain. Now, say if you attempt any kind of trick or pose or any kind of technique that involves you to be really, really flexible, it might be very painful at first. That's mainly because of your flexibility level, and it also depends on how flexible you are already. So honestly, I wouldn't worry if it's super painful at first, because it will be, but I can reassure you that that pain will gradually go away, because it's all part of the process, and you know what they say, no pain, no gain. Next thing I want to share with you is that it requires a lot of patience. So obviously if it gets to a point where you just want to give up because you're not getting there, please don't give up, because as I said, no pain, no gain, and it's a very famous saying and it's very true. So I would say that you would need a lot of patience, because as I said at the beginning, these things take time, because I have been working on this for months and months, and once I was halfway there, I thought it was going to take so much longer, because with some people it takes years, some people it takes months, some people it might even take a few days. So I would have a lot of patience, because, you know, it takes a very long time, and it's a good way to know that you eventually get there. So the last thing I want to mention is, it's pretty self-explanatory, and your PE teacher's probably said this to you millions and millions of times: always warm up so you don't injure yourself and things like that, because you don't want to injure yourself, because if you stretch some cold muscles it can cause an injury. So what I would suggest warming up, so maybe you could just go for a jog on the spot, or maybe run around the block, maybe a brisk walk, or maybe you could, as I mentioned strength earlier, it would be good to maybe do some strengthening exercises for your whole body, because everything's connected in a way, if you know what I mean. And I'll explain a little bit of that in a moment. So yeah, maybe you could like do some side bends, or you can like do some high kicks or anything, but just be sure to warm up your legs especially, because you'll be stretching them most of the time. So it's pretty self-explanatory, so do warm up before you stretch, just so your muscles get warm. So let's talk a little bit about physiology. So the first muscle you want to stretch is your hamstrings. So if I sit on the floor, your hamstrings are sort of your back leg muscles that will go all the way up to your hip. So what you might want to do is maybe stretch out your pike a bit, like that. And also your thighs and your hip flexors are connected as well. So as I said, like everything's connected, it's always good to stretch them. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that you are going to do is sit up nice and tall with your legs in front of you. And then you're going to lean forward, point your feet, and try to get your nose to your knee to target your hamstrings. Be sure to add flex as well, so you don't end up with a tight calf or a tight Achilles. Next, you are going to move into a straddle and try and move your hips forward as well as your legs. Then you're going to lean to one side of your nose to your knee. I would recommend holding these stretches for about 15 to 30 seconds, depending on how confident you are. I'm going to sit up tall again and then lean to the other side of your nose to your knee once again. Then you're going to sit up tall again and then lean forward as far as you can go. You can push your legs out a little bit if you also want to work on more of some hip flexibility for your middle splits. But hold that stretch for 15 or 30 seconds depending on how confident you are. Then you're going to sit in a butterfly and flap your butterfly wings, sitting up nice and tall, holding onto your feet. Then you're going to grab your ankles and push down your knees with your elbows. Then you're going to lean forward again. This will target your glutes as well as your hip flexors. And you're going to sit up nice and tall again, push down one knee with one hand and lean to the other side, which will get a stretch on your back. And then you're going to push down the other knee. Now you're going to go into the pigeon pose, so you're going to have one leg bent in front of you and the other leg straight behind you. And you're going to lean forward on your elbows, or if you're feeling really confident you can go all the way forward. Then you're going to repeat on the other side, and this is going to target both your hip muscles and your thigh muscles. Now lie on the floor with one leg kicked up towards you, and you're going to hold it and pull it towards you, which shall stretch out your hamstrings. Be sure to keep your legs nice and straight so you can feel the whole benefit. This will also be good for your leg holds as well. And now stretch the other leg, and again pull it towards you and keep them as straight as possible. Now go into a cheerleader's lunge, so have one leg in front of you and one leg behind you. If you're feeling confident, leg to stretch out your thigh and put it towards your butt. Then put your leg down and try and use as much core strength as possible. And then you're going to straighten your front leg and lean forward to target your hamstring once again. flex your front foot, as I said earlier on, just so you can stretch out your calf and your Achilles. And when you are ready, slide into your splits. Now this is where the core strength comes in, so you sit up nice and tall, engage your abs, and make sure your hips are in one line. If you're feeling confident, then lean forward. If you are feeling a little more confident, then bring your back leg and stretch your thigh like we did in that lunge. Next, you're going to repeat on the other side, so it's the same routine. So go into a cheerleader's lunge, keep your leg at 90 degrees so you get a good stretch. Then pull your leg towards your butt if you're feeling confident. Then hold that lunge once again. Then push back on your front leg so you can stretch your hamstring again. And when you are ready, go into your splits once again. Now, interesting thing is I am right-handed, which is my strong side. I'm actually more flexible on my left side, so as you can see, this is my right split and it's not as flexible as the other side. But still, it's always good to stretch it. So that was my splits video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you are inspired to take your flexibility to a whole new level. So please leave a like and subscribe, and I've been thinking of my next challenge if I should attempt my middle splits, because my middle splits aren't quite as 180 yet, so I'm thinking I should attempt my middle splits. So do leave a comment below if you think I should attempt my middle splits. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!